we got some news. Today, some news broke about the Jets, but I want to talk about the overall Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. So Robert Saleh said, I believe yesterday or the day before, that Aaron Rodgers has already made his presence felt within the Jets organization, and today it came out that the Jets have signed Randall Cobb, a former receiver of the Green Bay Packers and a former receiver of Aaron Rodgers, one receiver that actually Aaron Rodgers campaigned for a couple years back. So I want to get into the first thing, which is the shocking part of this statement that Robert Saleh made. We have a clip here. Aaron Rodgers is already practicing football in May, late April and early May. This is the first very, very shocking thing because he hasn't done this in years where he's actually practiced during the offseason, especially this early in the offseason. Aaron Rodgers notoriously would take off seasons off because that's just what he did. He would go out to his home in Malibu, or he would sit back and go on these, darkness retreats, and he would go on ayahuasca trips, and he just would enjoy his own personal life outside of football during the offseason. And in his opening press conference with the Jets, he made some very, very crazy comments that we haven't heard Aaron Rodgers say in a very long time. And some news that I think a lot of Jets fans were hopeful of, and now he's basically confirmed people's, hopes and wishes by saying that it'll look like he'll play more than just this year. He's on a 2-year deal. The Jets pushed back his major cap hit until next year, so now he's getting like the lowest base salary he can get, and they moved the big chunk of his money to a signing bonus. So next year his cap hit's like $100 million, something like that. That will get obviously restructured and pushed back multiple years where they could just pay it off slowly instead of taking that huge hit right up front. So first of all, that's the crazy thing, that Aaron Rodgers actually said that he would stay more than this year, or at least alluded to that he would continue playing after this year, which is funny because going into this season when he was still a Green Bay, or going into this offseason when he was technically still a Green Bay Packer, he went into his darkness retreat 90% retired. And now all of a sudden his career is, reinvigorated and he's rejuvenated to play football again. It's kind of crazy. But it seems like this new scenery around Aaron Rodgers has, sort of gave him new energy. He's going on to 40 years old, and all of a sudden now he wants to continue playing after being 90% retired and has alluded to retirement every single year for the past 3 years. Now all of a sudden he wants to continue playing with no doubts. We'll have to obviously see until, how the season pans out. But it looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to play more than just this year with the Jets. And now the Jets will now have to give up their first-round pick for next year's draft because of that conditional second-round pick. If Aaron Rodgers does play 65% of the snaps, the Jets, that conditional second round turns into a first round, which I think will be pretty good for the Packers because I do anticipate Aaron Rodgers playing more than 65% of the snaps this season. The Randall Cobb move, which Aaron Rodgers said, I never made a list of demands. Well, if you want to use the word demand, just like you want to use the word immunized instead of vaccinated because you weren't vaccinated, correct, you did not make a list of demands. You made strong suggestions, like getting Nathaniel Hackett, which I think could have been an Aaron Rodgers move. You got Alan Lazard, which was an Aaron Rodgers move. I think you got one of the Packers' offensive linemen recently. That was definitely an Aaron Rodgers move. You wanted Mercedes Lewis. I wouldn't be surprised if during this offseason if the Jets do get Mercedes Lewis. And now all of a sudden, Randall Cobb magically is on the Jets, and you're saying that you had no influence over this? Where would he fit? I have the Jets depth chart right here. According to ESPN, the top 3 wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, and Mecole Hardman. By the way, that Mecole Hardman pickup I think is a really, really good one. Then you have Corey Davis at your number 4. Who knows if he'll be on the team? And you also have Denzel Mims at potentially the 5th spot, but Denzel Mims wanted out at the beginning of last season. So who knows if he's going to even be on the starting roster. But where would he fit? I don't think anywhere, nor do you really put 4 starter material receivers out there consistently. Usually it's just the top 3, which in this case would be Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, and Mecole Hardman. And according to ESPN, this is the main set that they run: 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. So I'm wondering, where does he fit? And also, why would the Jets pick him up? Aaron Rodgers begged to get Randall Cobb the past couple years, and in a playoff game, a home game against San Francisco, when you were getting embarrassed by the 49ers and embarrassed by Jimmy G. You threw it to him once, which I believe might have been the last pass of the game when Randall Cobb was in double coverage. Randall Cobb is not the same Randall Cobb from 8 years ago. So I don't know why the Jets would make this move. The Jets have now turned into the New York Packers. Like, what are you doing here? So I guess it's to make him feel more comfortable. I mean, you got Allen Lazard, which I think is a perfectly fine number 2 or number 3. Have at it. You got rid of Elijah Moore. You got Mecole Hardman from the Chiefs. I think that was a great one. Well, technically free agency, but a former Chief, which I think that was a really good pickup. You could have him on jet sweeps and short drag routes and slant routes, or he could even go for deep go ball routes. Who knows? I think Mecole Hardman's a wonderful utility receiver that you could put in sort of any position on the field. Corey Davis, he's an okay 3-4. Who knows if he's even going to be on the starting roster? And Denzel Mims, who wanted out, for some reason you held on to him. So where is Randall Cobb going to fit? The move doesn't make much sense. So good for Aaron Rodgers. I'm actually happy to see this. I think now we could finally say that the New York Jets could be very well the most interesting NFL team next season. Because we have a 40-year-old who just had his worst season in over a decade coming into a new team in arguably the biggest market in the NFL. And now he's supposed to say, you know what, let me flip the script of my career now and let me go win playoff games and go win a Super Bowl with my new team. I think that makes the Jets very, very interesting. And for the first time in a very long time, I think the Jets going to be very, very relevant. Extremely relevant because they have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the entire in NFL history, especially one of the greatest throwers in NFL history. But also we have to realize that Aaron Rodgers is going from the much, much easier NFC to now an extremely hard AFC. And now when I do my AFC picks, I do think the Jets will be on my top 10 list, and they very much deserve that. They may even be top 5. I'll have to look into it. I'm not setting that in stone quite yet, but we're looking at the Jets here. They look really good. Breece Hall looked very, very good before he got hurt. Garrett Wilson was the offensive rookie of the year. Allen Lazard, he was sort of your go-to target last year when he was healthy for the Packers. Mecole Hardman was a great player for the Chiefs. Where are you going to fit Randall Cobb? I don't understand it. And watch, they got Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah as their first 2 tight ends. I thought the Jets, they got Will McDonald, an edge rusher. I think you should have gone tight end. You had Michael Mayer and you had Dalton Kincaid there. You could have got the best tight end in this draft. Some people were comparing, I think, Kincaid, he had like Travis Kelce elements to him. Well, if you want to really bolster your offense and make sure that Aaron Rodgers is in the perfect place to succeed, why didn't you go get a tight end? That's what I was wondering. Instead, they waited until like 25 seconds left on the draft clock, got nervous, and drafted Will McDonald. I don't understand that pick whatsoever. I'm going late first round as a depth position for the Eagles. The Jets are picking them for, I guess, a depth position at pick, what they have, 15, I think. I think you should have gone tight end at that spot, but I'm not too sure. I do expect the Jets to be better. I think that's sort of given when you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time at the quarterback position throwing the ball for you. And especially when you have talent like Breece Hall. Michael Carter's a fine running back too. Garrett Wilson, he was, right, like I said, offensive rookie of the year. Allen Lazard is a good receiver. Mecole Hardman is a good receiver. Like the Jets are in a great place. Now it's a question of what kind of Aaron Rodgers will we get? Now Aaron Rodgers has more talent than he had on the Packers. Will that equal more success in a playoff run? But then again, we also have to look at the Aaron Rodgers history over the past decade, more than a decade at this point. He has not been good in the playoffs. Even with Devontae Adams, even with Robert Tonyan, who was, I think people forget how good Robert Tonyan was like 2 years ago. He was a really good tight end for the Packers 2 years ago. The Packers had a good offensive line. The Jets, they need work at least at the guard position, and they might need a left tackle because the Jets just denied Mekhi Becton's 5th-year option. You may need a tackle. I don't know. I guess you got the one from the Packers. But guard could still be an issue for you. I believe you drafted a center in one of the later rounds, 2nd or 3rd maybe. So the offensive line's a little bit shaky. I think the tight end position is very shaky on the offense. You could have had a great, you were in prime position to take the top tight end. If you like Michael Mayer better than Dalton Kincaid, you could have picked him. If you preferred Kincaid over Mayer, you could have picked him. Instead, the Jets went for a depth edge position in the first round when their defense was number 4 last year. I don't quite understand it, but I do like the Jets, at least now, because they're in a good position. they're in a great position to succeed. And now it's the question of, I think the Jets will be a playoff team. I think at least with this roster, if they're not a playoff team, I think it would be an ultimate failure for the Jets. Albeit everyone stays healthy. But I think we're looking at this team. Aaron Rodgers, he didn't make a list of demands. I guess that's fair, but the Randall Cobb move, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Personally, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.